Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk for You Radio. Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this platform, the callers plus invited guests, are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with this brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
We're talking about COVID-19 this morning or this evening. We're going to be talking about really what we think it actually is, because there are so many different theories out there. There are so many different people just having these discussions about whether or not it's the radiation or if it's an actual virus. Is it some kind of government plot? Is it what? So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm not sure how many other people we have on the panel today. I just know it's Brother B.A. and I.
Yeah, it's just BA for now, but when everybody else come in, I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'll just talk about some of the things that I've seen in the media, because I've been posting quite a bit from the media and also from people who have their opinion blogs. So the article is basically, from what I'm gathering, it is saying that there is an immune deficiency that is coming from the radiation, and that's what's causing people to get sick in large numbers. But then you have of course, the media cover story that there's an actual virus that's spreading like germs. And so I had a couple of doctor videos that I posted, and they were all concluding the same, that the virus does not spread like germs spread. Basically, we have an immune deficiency. We have an immune deficiency because our bodies are under excessive radiation from these 5G towers and telecommunications lines that they're laying outside, and it's causing us to get sick because they've already started to erect these structures without being honest about the side effects of it. They're continuously saying, oh, it's low frequency radiation. I heard one person say, oh, it's non-ionizing, which basically means that it's not strong enough to alter the structure of your genetic DNA. It's not strong enough to alter any of the atoms of your cells. So that's one thing, because they've tested the how can I say it? They've tested 5G to a certain extent, but they have not tested it to the extent of which they're using it, the way they've implemented it. They have not tested it for 10 years, and they have not tested it for 10 years with the concentration level of towers that they're putting up. Right now, we only have a few cell phone lines outside. What they're doing is putting cell phone 5G towers within a few feet of each other, or a few yards from each other. And right now they're generally a couple of miles away from each other. So the concentration of all of these low frequency, a device, all of these low frequency devices, it's just too much radiation. It's just plain old too much radiation. And so they're basically saying that it is causing our cells to degrade. And that's what's causing our cells to become poisonous to our internal environment. And that's what's making us sick, is because our cells are breaking down, especially our lung cells. Apparently, the radiation has something to do with the way your lungs work. And that's the reason why we're seeing the symptoms that we see. So I'm going to go ahead and yield with that and allow Brother B.A. to talk about the research he's seen, some of the things you may be thinking on your own, and just how are you putting the math together.
Thank you. I haven't necessarily done too much research on the 5G. What I've been into, I've been looking at the economy and how the so-called power structure is been operating. I have heard some things about 5G, but I can only go with hearsay. And pretty much what you've shared so far, sis, I've heard it from various other people as well. My apologies if I haven't gotten a chance to look into it myself. My main concern, it's not my main concern, but one of the things that pulled my interest is how our power structure is more fascist than anything else now. They've come out and openly admitted it after so many years that they have decided to deny it, but now it's they can no longer hide it now because we have a system of injustice, and we see that there is only one side where the power structure align when they have aligned with the corporations. They have pretty much come out and told everybody that we're now a fascist regime and there's nothing you can do about it. So I see rather than 5G or anything else, they're using this disease, to push their agenda to control all money going in and going out. And that's what I'm really
That's what they want to, excuse me, that's why they want to push us to a digital currency, because it's something that they can control. They can't control us if we have cash.
Exactly. And the thing is that we see this happening right before our very eyes. So my question would be, what are the things that we need to do to prepare? Because we know right now the common man is at a big disadvantage. So what can we do to fight back? I don't mean literally fight back the regime or the system, but how do we find a way to fight back and get healthier and give out as much information to those who are in need? That would be my question.
Excuse me. And I'm going to say this very, why don't I use it hopefully? Because I have faith that we are going to recognize the seriousness and the level of commitment that we need to have for our own betterment and for our own safety. Excuse me. I can really only speak for myself, honestly, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing in business, because right now I'm preparing to use everything I have to invest in the Black community. And honestly, we need resources. We have quite a bit of manpower, but we don't have a whole lot of organizational structure. We don't have a lot of qualified leadership that is stepping up to the right plate. And I have to put real emphasis on that. Stepping up to the plate is one thing, but stepping up to the right plate. We have so many things, so many battles that we can fight out there in society, but only a few of them really truly matter and are worth the fight. Going into the European system and trying to move through the ranks in their system to try to beat them, to me it seems so backwards. And I just really wish that we would stop wasting our time trying to appeal to the Caucasian man and his system and just focus on what we can personally do to create systems of our own, because that's the only way we're going to be able to reverse the effects, in my opinion, to what's going on. So what I've chosen to do is just that. I've just invested in developing a software where we can come together on one platform. So it'll basically be a social networking platform that's also coupled with a procurement platform where Black businesses can come together and do business with each other on a contract basis. And they can also have direct access to their consumer market. Because in my long-term vision, what I would like to see, and I'm going to skip way ahead and tell you what my long-term vision is, because I would like to see our people basically creating systems that are taking the power away from the federal government and basically taking ownership of it. So what that would look like, in layman's terms, is it would look like if you have a whole bunch of people I'm just going to use like the education system for example. That's one of my favorite examples to use. Let's say you got a failing education system. You know it's failing, it's been failing, and you know that it's under-educating your child. You know it's not challenging your child. You know that they're borderline abusing your child. You know, your child is basically in like a soft prison at this point. And you're completely dissatisfied with this. Now, if you just kind of let your mind go with me for a second, you're paying for this service, okay? It's a service that's being provided for you. Somebody's educating your child for you because truly, according to nature's standard, we are our children's educators. We have outsourced that job to the federal government. Now, of course, we'll say, oh, well, how else am I going to live? How am I going to work? And how am I going to do these things and that and the other? Well, that's because we're so embedded into this system that we don't even realize how much of our lives we have outsourced to these people. So we have to start taking those jobs back from them. So I'm not going to say, I want you to educate my child. No, you know what? I'm going to educate my child. I got it. Because, first of all, you messing it up. You're miseducating my child at this point, and I'm aware of that. So I'm going to take that job back. I'm going to homeschool my child. Don't even worry about it. Then let's talk about our health care. Okay, I'm not healthy. Most Americans are not healthy. We have all these things going on, all these needs that have to be fulfilled. So the point that I'm making is Black businesses can go into business with each other to meet the needs of the Black community. And I'm going to say that I've told you guys this before. I feel like I've said what I'm saying before on this platform. So hopefully somebody heard me before and somebody going to hear me this time because it's coming. Actually, I'm going to try my best to get it released this year so we can go ahead and get started because it's kind of like it's time.
We spoke about it before. We spoke about it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I spoke it. So this has been...
Yes, that Moses is here. Just to let you guys know. But go ahead.
Okay. Thanks for telling me. So, I mean, what we need, in my opinion, is infrastructure. And so that's the reason why I want for these Black businesses to get on this platform so that they can talk directly to the Black consumer. And we can talk about the things that we need to do in business so that we can support each other financially. Because Black people are not short on money. We're not short on money. We're short on organizational structure. And if we bring our money to an organizational structure, then we will have everything we need to start systematically reversing the effects of oppression. Because at this point, we're fully aware of how we're being oppressed. We're fully aware of what the system is doing. Nowadays, the propaganda can't even get really to the mainstream TV before we already called out the truth. We already know what they're doing. So we don't really need to continue studying this system anymore. I feel like we got a good enough grasp of it for all of us to go ahead and start dumping our resources into our own system. We need our own platforms, we need our own systems, and we need our own structure. So that's going to be my contribution to my people. I'm going to invest. I have invested in it. And this is something a project that I would really like to see everybody put their intellectual property into it, because at some point we're going to have to figure this out for ourselves. So the more of us that are thinking about it, the more of us that are collaborating, the more of us that are bringing our contacts to the network, bringing our resources to the network, everything we could possibly do together, we need to be doing it together. The platform is going to feature what I'm calling an idea builder, where businesses can get together and figure out on paper through brainstorming and planning, how can we meet the needs of our community? They need something, and we see a market for it because there's a need for it. So let's go into business. Let's get together. Let's do this so that we can actually make things happen and not be going to the government and asking them for help. Clearly, these people are falling apart. They can't even help themselves right now. So we don't have to do what we do, as always. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say this. I hear what you're saying, and I stand with you. Now, the first thing with this platform and this whole structure that you're talking about, it's revolutionary within itself. And one thing to revolution, education is a key. We have to educate ourselves. That's one thing. We have to be re-educated, and we have to deprogram, do a system reboot from this current system of oppression. We have to, because what we normally do is that we repeat the cycle, and the way we've been afflicted, we are quick to put the infliction on each other. So we have to do a system reboot completely. So I
want to
definitely go ahead.
I was just going to say that is one thing that I am intentional about addressing. People who sign up for business profiles on this platform, they'll have access to free business education resources. So this will be things like, for example, you know, a lot of times black businesses struggle because they have bad customer service. So we're going to have a huge focus on teaching customer service skills from a corporate perspective, teaching them how to create corporate structured customer service systems so that they don't have to worry about wasting their potential because they have bad service skills. You know, so we're going to teach them things that they need to know, things that they need to do to keep them successful and keep them on track for global competition. So that is definitely something that I'm also aligned with you about on that. Education, I agree, is something that we have to learn. But I'm going to tell you, I feel like we have to learn ourselves. Okay, I don't feel like we have to learn their system. We need to learn us so we can figure out how we're going to do this.
I hear what you're saying. And there's one more thing before I let Elijah come in and say a few words. It was said by a great revolutionary by the name of Che Guevara. He said that a revolutionary is guided by love. So when it comes to people coming together and breaking away from the system, you have to have a love and compassion and concern for others. You can't organize without love. You have to have it. You have to have love for your neighbor to organize. And I think when it comes to a lot of our people, there is a big lack of it. And I'm pretty sure at one time or another, we may have all drunk in that cup. So we have to understand. That's why it always goes back to system reboot and understand the concept of love. It's not just a word. It's not just small talking. Who are you doing, baby? No. Love is an action. And we have to most definitely understand what it means to have love and display proper love in order to be successful. And with that, I'm going to fall back.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Brother Moses. You want to go ahead and tell us about what you believe the coronavirus be? I know it sounds like we did not talk about the coronavirus just now, but we were talking about the coronavirus. So if you want to tell us something about your research or something you thought was interesting, I was talking about the radiation and its health effects. So if you wanted to add something that you found interesting, feel free.
So I don't really have any strong opinions on corona. I think the first time about 3 or 4 weeks ago when we had a discussion on it, probably echo much of the same sentiments. The mass media, I don't trust them much at all. Not actually sure what the virus is. Like I've talked to people in the religious community who believes it's a plague from God. Could be. I mean, I can't go into that. You talk to people in the school systems that I work in, and you know, everybody's fretting on being at home, trying to educate their children. I have no idea what they're doing. People in the business community and, you know, developers and real estate folks I know who, you know, crying. And when you watch the very, very, very little news that I probably more overhear my wife or daughter watching, because I don't think I've watched 5 or 8 minutes of any news clips. And I could often be considered being insensitive. But for me, as I explained to others, if somebody tells you that, and this is just the way people are, but if somebody tells you that, you know, the day of December 25th is like a religious figure's birthday, and, you know, all these gifts gonna come to you, and, well, is that true or is it a lie? And the reality is it's a lie, right? But beyond that, you can find people who will argue you down over misinformation. And they will create entire discourses and spread more misinformation because they're misinformed. And what that looks like is, you know, an aunt or a relative or a cousin who's angry that you didn't get them a Christmas gift. a friend who's angry that you didn't think about them. Well, for me, I'm discrediting the whole ideal of the event. And similar to that, which sounds insensitive, but I have to just be cautious of the news mass media. They've always done the bidding of the larger, controllers or rulers or whatever have you. And then for whatever it's worth, when you look at from a media standpoint, 85-95% of the news media outlets are owned by 6 companies. Like I don't have any. I don't know what's going on. Like, and there's no way at current that I can find out. So the best kind of protection I have is just to keep my bearings about myself. Be safe, whatever that means. I mean, people saying like, okay, wear a face mask and whatever have you. And, more people are trying to gravitate to what they consider consciousness as a result of. But I don't know what's going on. And there's, at current, nobody I know who I can trust who can tell me the truth about what's going on. And not that this has any merit or not, because I'm not into conspiracy theories to spook people, but I spent time out the country last year, and one question that I continue to ask or be asked of people was, will the current American president stay in power and win again? And I said, without a doubt. Like, that's just the way power goes. Like, absolute power corrupts. And again, I don't know him, but I know, that cycle of continuity and power to pull off whatever they're pulling off. So I don't really know. I mean, there's nothing I can really say. I mean, I've known people who had the coronavirus, whatever that is. I've known people who are affected because a friend of mine's parents died in Nigeria. I don't think it was because of the virus, but the father died, and because you can't travel, him and his wife couldn't go see the burial. I mean, and that affects people, right? But I don't know what it is. I don't know where it come from. I don't know why it exists. I don't have anybody I can turn to for solid answers who's going to tell me the truth. So that's kind of where I'm at. And in the interim, I'm taking a sabbatical, another one, enjoying my opportunity. I'm building a farm table, and I'm building bookshelves and reading books. I mean, I'm reading. I'm writing, just enjoying my downtime. Let the rest of the world, kind of spin around in a circle. And when they say you can go back to normal, whatever normal means, then, we can kind of pursue that. But I have no idea.
I agree, bro. Me personally, right now at this moment, since I'm out of work for the next month or so, I'm just sitting back at the house, reading, writing, relaxing, got a chance to breathe, and I'm just spending more time with my children and edifying them to the best of my ability. They're very aware of what's going on, and this is the time to press a few issues that I have been meaning to deal with when it comes to my kids. In the biblical world, we say milk and meat. But I've given them a little bit of milk, and I've also given them a little bit of meat as well. And you have to do that. We have to provoke our children. We have to sometime, what's the word? We have to sometime get to a point to where we can no longer just hodl them or cover them. There's times where you have to prepare them and just be truthful with them, and let them and tell them and make them and hope that they're aware that the world or society they live in is not what it's made out to be. And that's one thing I can say. The one positive thing out this whole ordeal is that I've connected with my children much more, me being a single father. So I'm going to just fall back.
Okay, so I don't know if there's anything else that we can talk about with the coronavirus, but I do think that we do, it's a good conversation for us to have to talk about building with one another, getting out into the community. And I know, Brother B.A., you do a lot of work with organizing, right? Because you do the union work.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe you have maybe some resources about, I don't know, maybe I have to talk to you about that offline, but I know I still have your email address and we're connected on that chat, so I'll talk to you there. But I do still think we should talk about how, some good ways for us to organize as a people socially, because I know we use social media and that's a good thing, but I mean, is that it? Can we use anything else other than social media for us to get organized?
Well, I mean, social media most definitely nowadays is one of the most convenient and fastest ways to organize. But to me personally, it's all, this is just me. I know other people have different methods. And just through the few training courses I've been through, a lot of people have a lot of they have ideas. Me, I still think it's all about connecting with a person eye to eye and face to face. I believe gathering up with various people that you have something in common with. I believe in that way. I think that plays a big part in organizing, and with various other things, because a lot of the old school tactics are still good, but you have to show some type of growth and maturity and some type of evolvement as well. So there's various things that we can bring to the table, rather it be social media, calling people, talking to them, reaching out to them locally. There's various things you can do. And you have to make sure that while you're organizing, one thing I've learned is to identify with the people you are talking and communicating with, and not to make it seem like that you're not able to relate to them. I think I use, is that I tell people that I'm in the same boat as them, and my concern is to make overall situation better than what it is now. And what is it that we can do to get that going, to see that progress? That's one thing that I do, and I know there's other people that use other tactics. But yeah, there's various ways to do it. I believe you have various, and then one thing about leaderships too. Leadership is a skill. You either have it or you don't. And one thing about organizing is that there are some people, everybody has a position to play, but everybody can't be the head honcho. Everybody got a part.
And that's a problem for us. We struggle with that.
Exactly. And one thing I noticed, even with this online community, rather they be conscious or Christian or Hebrew or the various other titles, or the self-personifications, everybody wants to be the main man in charge. And that is not organized. That is not organized. Like you said earlier, we lack organization skills. Why? Because everybody wants to be the organizer. So everybody has to be willing to fall back and play their position and be patient and be humble. And this is not a convenience thing. This is not a microwave thing to where you put something in the microwave for a minute and all of a sudden it's done. That's not how revolution works. That's not how organizing works. Like the old saying, and we heard it before, the revolution will not be televised. Well, I take that, when I hear that, revolution starts with the individual. It lines up with the teachings of Christ and when he says you must be converted or you must be born again. It happens with you as an individual, and you hope and we pray that you, your conduct and your character, that new person, that the way who you are, that it affects others around you, that light that's inside of you. So we have to most definitely get out of the dogmatic view of things and look at things from a real life reality type matter, if that helps.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Can I ask you a question? And hopefully this don't sound insensitive, but when y'all use the terminology "we," who do y'all refer to?
Okay.
In general, our community in general.
Well, let me just say this. When I say we, I'm just talking about from an overall perspective of organizing in general, not just with people connecting. That if that makes any sense to you, Brother Moses.
The reason I ask is because, and again, for whatever this is worth, but I think sometimes people try to organize all people, and instead of getting started where they are, like, there's, I don't know, an analogy that was spoken by Booker T. Washington years ago, and he said, it was one ship that fell upon another, and in the midst of a sea, they were asking, it's like, hey, we need water. And he said, look, man, drop your bucket where you are. And he said, no, we need water. And he said, listen, man, drop your bucket where you are. And he cried out the third time, and he just told him, listen, people, and he was using an analogy for something completely different, but sometimes the resources of the people, I hear people interested in organizing or working with people as if they're going to work with everyone, and nothing really starts like that. Like it generally, for whatever it's worth, it generally starts with a small group. So, like when you talk about whatever people consider Christianity, for example, like whatever people consider it, I'm not getting into the details of what is and what isn't, but whatever people consider it to be, it was a 30-year-old and 12 of his friends. I mean, a couple of them was brothers, a couple of them knew each other. These was pretty much kids, you know what I mean? They weren't, it wasn't like 60-year-olds who've been in the struggle for years. I mean, it was pretty much kids. When you think about the Black Panthers, like, Huey Newton was like 16 or 17. These was kids. But it wasn't many of them. And if you study the history of them, they didn't really get large for a while. And it pretty much got large when the whole, I think they marched on the Capitol in California or something. And that sparked, media attention and caused them to get large. But opposite of that, they also built social programs that people didn't know about. And it's a book that pretty much lays out the platform of how they organize. And this is one of many. I mean, you can look at a lot of other organizers, but it's called Service to the People programs. And any organizations that existed generally started out with just a small group, and then they start doing the regular set of activities to make it larger and grow, like intentionally grow. But, whatever, whether it's organizing around COVID, organizing around, home education, organizing around enterprise or whatever, it generally starts with a few people. And I just would caution the listeners, if you would, to not try to organize everybody. I sometimes hear people use that terminology, and what they intend to do is like, look, we need 1,000 people. See, that's not, to me, practical. It's like, look, we're going to work with these 4 or 5 people to grow something, and then 4 is going to turn into 8 to 16, 16 to 264, etc. But it's not just going to kind of pop out of the woodwork and be popular. The second thing that I'll say on top of that is, and, this could be opinion. I would probably argue that it's fact, but there's not much that is going to happen that is going to congeal the masses of people together under one banner. That's unlikely. Like, not that it's impossible, but it's just unlikely. So, again, that's why generally just start small with a small few who, kind of put in work and do some things consistently and intentionally have a platform to grow, as well as to inform people. Because even when you gather a lot of people together, if it works out like that, people so misinformed that, I think Brother B.A. was saying, they just reduplicate what they claim that they're trying to get out of. And that's a disservice to people.
I agree. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying my statement before you spoke, brother, is that when it comes down to organizing, that everything's not going to happen overnight. I mean, it's not a quick, convenient microwave Popeye. You know what I'm saying? It's time. You're gonna have your ups and downs. You're gonna have your good days and your bad days, and so forth. But the goal is to remain positive and do the best you can to reach out to those who are willing to get involved. And once you have that a certain amount of those few who are willing to get involved or who's willing to put in the time and the effort, then you start up from there. And I've seen it work. I've seen it work throughout the years. I've been involved in a lot of union campaigns within the last 10 to 12 years. I've witnessed them. I've experienced them myself. Before, just as a participant, as working at certain places that wanted to go union. And then nowadays, prior to this COVID-19, I was going through the training and getting ready to have an opportunity to really get my hands dirty and actually do some attempts in a couple of campaigns. But unfortunately, like I said, with the coronavirus hitting, that's gonna have to. Ain't no telling when I get an opportunity. So as of right now, I'm just reading, and I'm surrounding myself around all the best literature on how to organize and from other people of experience who've done in the past, and things of that nature.
Cool. I wanted to respond to Brother Moses real quick because I think that those ideas apply to our past for sure, but I feel that there are opportunities we have now that will change those dynamics for the better. The reason I say that is because a lot of the problems that we had back in our struggle days, I'm going to call them, we did not have connectivity like we do now. And that was one of our major setbacks, is that we couldn't access that many people at one time. But now we can. We just have to know how to access that many people at one time. And if you understand mental conditioning, if you understand what branding and marketing and communications is, psychology, all of that goes into consumerism. And what I'm proposing is that we use that for our benefit. If we are already participating in commerce, we need to participate in commerce for our benefit. That's something we're already doing, 100%. All of us participate in commerce. Every last one of us. We can't not participate in it. So why would we not do that in large numbers? If we know that doing that in large numbers is actually going to help pull us away from where we are dying. I was always taught to dream big. And I try to. I do my best to try to think big. Things go viral every day. Content takes off and gets millions of views every day. I don't doubt that my people can do things in large numbers. I don't doubt that for 1 second. I just simply believe that I need to be whatever I need to be for that to happen. My product needs to be whatever it needs to be for that to happen. And that's my intention. We have to. So I'm going to say that. We have to. We really don't have much of a choice. We're going to have to choose between their system or our own system. And everybody has the freedom to choose. You can choose to go over there, but who in their right mind would do that? But they're going to be faced with the choice, so they're going to have to make a decision. And that's just what it's going to be. But, I'm pretty sure that over time, whether it goes viral from the very beginning or not, I want to say this also, that it's actually pretty normal to start off with a beta group before you launch a large campaign. And so I think, like I said before, I think what you said, it does apply in some cases. But just know that I do intend to do that, to have a beta testing group before I go into a full-blown situation. Does anybody else have anything they want to say?
I would say with everything that's going on in the world today, and we see there most definitely are some goals that we would like to reach and see come into fulfillment or manifest one day. So what are the, and we talked about education is a good start, and having love, that's also a good start. What are some other solutions to head toward that direction?
My brother, I want to tell you, on this platform that I'm creating, I'm designing it so that we can attack all these things all at the same time. First of all, there's enough of us. We have like I said, we have a lot of manpower. We have a lot of educated brothers and sisters out there. So I don't think we need to slow or approach it slowly. The way I would like to do it is the way I like to live my own life. I like to do things. I like to have multiple things going on in my life at one time because it's just more exciting that way, more creative that way, and I actually enjoy my life. So on the platform, the idea is to implement what I call mission-based social engagement. So when you come together on a social platform, you are there with the intention to discuss different topics of concern in your community. So right now, the topics I have that are going to be on the forum, which is where people will interact with each other socially, especially with business partners, especially with regular, consumers. That'll be the audience. They'll be talking about infrastructure. There will be a forum specifically talking about infrastructure. Everybody in that forum will be talking and giving ideas and talking about facts and talking about, what they've observed, all of that about infrastructure. Then administration, and, like operations, processes, things like that, what we need to do to make sure that we are collectively taken care of. Education, health and wellness, technology, industries and innovation, because right now there are industries inside of us that we don't even know about that we could innovate and turn into something like, for example, the taxi cab industry has been, pretty much overhauled by the ride-sharing industry. And so I know for a fact that if we got together and started thinking about the things that we need as a community, we can create or innovate industries and start to, build some things together on that idea. So there'll also be a forum talking about social engineering, talking about how we need to start looking at our situation collectively, psychologically. For example, how are we going to start changing the narrative through our music? How are we going to start getting more conscious rappers primetime TV or primetime airtime? Because they're out there. There are so many conscious rappers and musicians and artists out there. We need to start making them the trend. And we have to start realizing that social engineering has been happening under our own roof because we're allowing those things into our home. And so we have to start changing that. So we have to start pondering how can we make changes in our everyday lives to reverse the social engineering that has been keeping our minds in an idle or more docile or more dysfunctional environment or a dysfunctional status. So we'll be talking about engineering and talking about different ways that we can come together collectively. We'll be talking about having community codes. How Caucasians, they have a code of silence. There are certain things that they're just not going to say around you. There are just certain things that Caucasian people are just not going to say around you. And we need to learn how to be that way as well. We really need to learn how to be that way as well so that we can create some type of culture. I mean, we have a culture, but we haven't been creating it intentionally. So, again, that'll be the type of things that we talk about in our forums for social engineering. So I believe that having a forum like this where we're able to exchange intellectual property, that's exchanging matter. That's actually exchanging something that is tangible. And so if we can make our ideas feasible by bringing our resources to them, then we can actually start making action plans. We can mobilize in the areas that we say we want to mobilize. So basically it's forcing you to put your money where your mouth is. Okay, well, if we're having this whole discussion, we're making these plans, what can you bring to the table to get these plans together? Can you bring anything, whether it be a network, somebody in your contact list, whether it be your own work, your own ideas, your own whatever, your own money specifically. Can we get these things together so that we can start investing in ourselves? Because once those seeds grow, those seeds of investment, once they grow, especially our children, they are going to see the benefits of those seeds, of us exchanging these ideas now. And this is how we have to start thinking. We can't be thinking scared, thinking, oh, that's not going to happen because we're this. That's not going to happen because we're that. We cannot think that way. We really shouldn't speak that way. We should only speak highly of ourselves, only speak highly of each other, and make sure that we're encouraging this type of reality to come together, because it's going to come out of our mind. So this is the reason why I want this platform to exist and why it will exist, because we have to start exchanging our intellectual property for anything to happen at all on our own behalf. If we don't, we're going to have to rely on them, and that's what we don't want. And none of us want that. So I know that's a unifying concept.
I hear you, sis. And one thing you did mention is music. And one thing we do understand, music is very powerful. Music speaks to our youth. It speaks to our children. So since we're talking about building something from the ground up and organizing and establishing re-education and love, and just the other concepts you brought to the table, and start with this concept of this talk about our children. So since we understand music can be very powerful, because I know at one time all of us have been influenced by music. It's common in America. So now all of a sudden, what other influences can we use to reach our children? What other influences or ideas or concepts that you see that we can use to uplift our children into being more conscious, into being more productive in a system to where, or in an environment to where it's only meant to go up and be productive for all of those who are involved, and to reach out to other people to bring them in? What other avenues can we go into reaching our children?
I'm going to say time is your biggest asset. Children really, really respond to quality time. That is something that I feel all of us have been missing, that quality time and that affection, which I know is something that we're normally looking for in our romantic relationship. But it's also good and healthy for your children to feel that now, because when they go out into the world, if they don't have love and affection on their mind so heavily because of the fact that they got it from their parents at home, they'll be more likely to chase after their passion and their purpose rather than chasing after a man or a woman, okay? Because they already feel love and affection that's in them that was given to them when they were children. So spend that time with your child. Let your child know that they are worth something. Let them know that you see them. Let them know that you know that they're talented, that they're smart. Let them know that. Talk to them about it. Like when my nieces and my nephew and my son are around me, I always tell them the good things I see in them. My niece was doing regular old cartwheels, but she looked athletic to me. So I was like, girl, you are doing it out there. You look so athletic. Let me show you this angel right. And I showed her the best of the best that I could possibly show her. Let me show you this Olympic gold medalist that's doing what you're doing to the 10th power, and where you could go if you chose to invest in what you're doing right now. You know, get these kids to understand that there is something greater out there for them. A lot of them feel like, oh, I got to go chase a bag, or I'm about to be like my mom, and I'm about to be drinking and smoking, and I'm going to have all these men, I'm going to have all these women, I'm about to be fly. You know, we have to show them something other than that. We just have to have more substance with our kids. Pour into them and really, like I said, give them that time, that quality time and that affection, so that they can understand that they have something to offer and it is not superficial. They can feel free to have emotions, express their emotions. Another thing I say about children is let them express themselves. Even if they kind of got a little testy, or, I'm not going to say let your kids get smart with you, no, but let them speak their mind. Let them be expressive, because the world already is going to shut them down. And if they're not used to speaking for themselves, speaking confidently, knowing how they feel, knowing how to be assertive, they're going to go out there and get punked by this world. And you don't want that. So prepare your children. And that's what, to me, that's just what they respond to. They respect the fact that you're not going to let them just do any old thing. You know how you respected your big mama or your granddad if he was that type of figure in your life where you knew that he loved you more than you could imagine, but you knew not to mess with him. Okay, you knew not to do certain things, or you knew to do certain things because that was just the way that person taught you and gave you that understanding of who they were. So we have to give those things to our kids and not allow our professions to get in the way, not allow our relationships to get in the way, not allow our inconveniences. Like I know a lot of us have baby mama dramas and, a whole lot of child support issues and things that we're going through. We cannot allow that to stop us or tear us away from our kids. I mean, if you had to be intentional about anything else or by any means necessary about anything else, do that about your kids. Because they don't know that all of these challenges are coming at you. All they know is they don't see you. All they know is they don't have your time. All they know is they don't have your attention. So what do? They start filling up those empty holes, and we all know what that is. We all know what that means. They go wayward. They start looking into the world trying to fill those holes because they're not getting it from home. So give that to your kids. Give you to your kids. And that's really the way you start to get them more geared towards passion and purpose and really having a place in the world where we can all, we can all pitch in. Even the kids.
I agree.
Even the kids. They got to get in there too.
I agree. You know what I'm saying? You got to build them up. You got to prepare them for the world, man, because the world has so much to offer, and at the same time, it has so much to offer in disguise as well. So the foundation starts at home with our children. It starts at home. Got to make sure they're grounded and they're rooted on solid ground. Most definitely. Yo, but Sal, man, you got any callers? Anybody press one? They want to chime in real quick?
Yeah, we got somebody pressing number 1 at this time. Again, the number is 319-527-6239 for those listening. Just go to 443, you're live. 443. Can you hear me? 443, you're live. All right, going once, going twice. I guess we lost that caller. All right.
Okay. Brother Elijah, say it again.
By the way, we lost Elijah.
Yeah, Brother Elijah, he had to log off. He said he had to take care of some other matters. We were most all willing to catch up with the brother some other time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but sis, man, I'm with you 100%. I'm all about the upliftment and doing something different. I mean, I think with this pandemic coming into play, it caught a lot of people off guard. So now, all of a sudden, now that we're experiencing this is the time to organize. This is the time to, as individuals, as ourselves, to get better. Our flaws, improve them. Our strengths and our weaknesses, enhance them. Because when the time comes, because next time around when something like this happens, we don't want to see the worst. We want to make sure that we're more prepared. So this was a wake-up call for the majority of the people. So, yes, whatever you got going, sis, you already know how to stay in touch with whatever ideas you got. You know what I'm saying? I most definitely would like to get involved and see what I can do.
I'm glad.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It sounds like you got a good plan over here, though.
Thank you. I definitely have faith in my plan. I mean, honestly, the only reason why I'm so confident in it is because I know it did not come from me. The way that I have laid this thing out, y'all, it feels like when I'm writing it, it's more like channeling. I don't even feel like it's coming from me. So when I'm talking about it, I'm excited like it's somebody else's project. I'm like, y'all, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's coming to life. You know what I'm saying? It's like a dude that write lyrics. When the lyrics come to life, you know what's this? Maybe you just don't write lyrics. You probably got a talent that you didn't know you had. Do a lot of reading. I'm definitely a word person. I'm definitely a word person. I used to write poetry. I actually used to publish my poetry, but I stopped just because I got into more technical stuff.
and I started writing, like more technical stuff. So, yeah, I do enjoy that kind of stuff. So yeah, I know it's definitely a good plan. I'm glad that I have people in my network. I've been going out and networking quite a bit. So I've been, just collecting my people. I've been collecting everybody's skill sets and, just talking to people about what they want to do, what they're passionate about, where they want to be in society. There are so many different avenues and different resources that we have just laying right inside of our minds. Black people are full of ideas. We are full of ideas, y'all. And that's one thing that I know is our best asset, is that we have intellectual property, and we are the most genius people on this planet. So you can't tell me that if I put out something where y'all can just get your ideas out, come on now. All you need is to just get a good idea and make it feasible, make it tangible, put something behind it, and there you go. You have everything you need to create your reality. All you need to do is just start writing it out. Just start planning it out,
that
organizing, resources. That's all we have to do, y'all. And that's all we need to start having faith in, is that this universe works on the law of attraction. It works on our collective consciousness. That's what it's here for. So if we come together collectively, start consciously thinking of some things, start consciously talking about some stuff. You mean to tell me you wouldn't invest if you came up with the idea? And then other people started saying that's a great idea? Yeah.
Yeah, it takes effort. I know a lot of people, man, with the first time failure or the first time a mistake comes around, people just get all bent out of shape and they quit. And that's not the right attitude to have when you have a vision and when you want to see something manifest into reality. It's not going to be a smooth ride in the park. It's not going to be all cookies and cream. It's not going to be all hallmarks and smiles. So struggle most definitely is what's going to build character. It's going to show you the fundamentals on how to be successful. So as you go further along, you know what to do. You know what decisions not to make, and so forth. So, yeah, man, I think that's another thing with a lot of us. We tend to, we want everything to start off easy and smooth and no confrontation and no problems. We just want it to be nice and smooth, no bumps in the road.
Nah, baby, I came from the hood. I came from the hood. To me, if it ain't got to struggle with it, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But see, I'm just playing for real. But because, and the only reason why I say that is because you do have to invest in this universe in order. You have to put the work in. That's just plain and simple. You do. And there's going to be some challenges. You know, it will fall into your lap. And like, you know, they say you're supposed to align with things and it's not, you know, it's supposed to be easy and this and that and this and that. I get that, but you have to till your land before you plant your seed. That's just plain and simple. You've got to get things ready for what you are ready or getting ready to receive.
Yeah, you
and
have
that
to be
takes
willing
work.
to get dirty.
Yeah, you do. You do. Yeah.
You can't say, you can't wear the cocaine white Air Forces and expect not to get touched.
Come on, somebody. Somebody.
So I'm already doing.
Man. So let me tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you this. What I want to see happen with my project is the one thing I know about us is that when we face challenges, a lot of times, like you said, we take the negative route. I would like to train our, process so that we are enjoying our process of growth, whether we are succeeding or failing. If we have some wins, we're going to celebrate. If we have some losses, we're going to celebrate. We're going to learn, but we're going to celebrate even our losses because we had a chance to learn. And I'm really hoping that we can have those types of situations where we're not in competition with each other. We're not trying to be like my brother Moses said, where everybody wants, who was that? No, was that you, Brother B.A., when you said everybody want to be the leader? Yeah, that was Brother B.A. Everybody want to be the chief. We're going to get rid of that type of mentality because there's one thing about the spirit world, and the reason why we're made in the image that we are is because mankind is literally a spiritual body, and everybody has a spiritual place on that spiritual body. There is a head, and there is a hand, and there is a foot, and there is a leg, and so we have to start getting people in that concept that you have an important role in this body, in this bigger picture. So even if you are the foot, do not complain about being the foot because you're carrying us. You know, if you're the finger, don't be complaining about being the finger because you're directing us.
Exactly. Play your position.
You know, be proud, right? Be proud of where you are because you have a purpose. Right. So we have to start getting in that mind frame where we're aligning our purpose. Well, I'm not mad that I'm in this position because this is my purpose. This is what I'm here for. Do the strands of hair get mad that they on your head and they hair cells? No. Your skin cells mad because they skin cells? No. They happy to be where they at. They happy to be, you. So we have to be happy to be who we are and be in the position that we are made to be in. We just got to embrace that. And I feel like we can do it. We out here feeling ourselves anyway. We out here doing,
Everybody part is vital. And living in this society where we have this mentality, kill or be killed, or compete to reign supreme. We're taught that everybody is not relevant. We're taught that I have to lord over you. I have to be your daddy, or I have to be your master.
Right.
And seeing that type of behavior, it only goes so far. And when you implement this type of thinking into a whole generation and generations, it becomes perpetual. It perpetuates. It never stops. And now you see the downfall of this system now because you can only lord over so many people for so long. Everybody can't be a billionaire. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden you can't just come in and reform it. You have to eradicate this system. You have to eradicate it, and it has to be abolished, and it has to be destroyed. So now all of a sudden what you're talking about is something entirely new, that all who put effort are going to be considered, and they're going to play a part. It's very important. No one is not relevant. Everybody has an important part to play. When you start implementing this type of concept, then you're going to see it. You're going to see these methods. You're going to see it go from generation to generation to where you have a united, functioning body. That the blood is circulating throughout the whole body.
Brother B.A., okay, this is going to be one of the most beautiful things about this platform. Y'all, we are going into, when we say education mode about ownership, our business owners that have business user profiles we will be jam-packing knowledge to them about the meaning and the importance of ownership. I don't care what you do. I don't care how strapped you are. Come to your community for money if you need it, but do not sell your business to anybody outside of this network or anybody outside of our network. Because if you are giving away your wealth, you're giving away our resources as a collective. You might as well pass that to somebody in your community, even if you have to take it at a lower price like the Asians do. The Asians will say, I would rather take a lower price from my people than to take more money from somebody that's not my people. And that's how they get down. And I see value in that. It's like, now there's more value in me keeping the wealth in my community and me helping out my brother instead of me trying to benefit for myself. They're not selfish in their pursuit of success. They want to see everybody win. Just like a lot of the Hispanics do when they get together and they all live in one house and they promote one person to the top with a fully built lifestyle until they turn around and do it all over again for the next person. You know, they work together. So we're going to have to start figuring out how do we want that to look for ourselves. How do we want to start building wealth? Are we going to start in real estate? I realize there are lots of black real estate developers out there. Everywhere I go, I'm running into a black real estate something. Black real estate is like we are into this real estate game, heavy. So we need to start bringing them resources over to our own network. We got to start doing that because, I've run into so many black real estate developers, investors, all kinds of stuff. They just be into it. So I guess I made my point, but I want you guys to understand how serious I am. This thing is about to happen, okay? It's about to happen. We're going to have what we need, and it's going to be all right.
But the reason why those other communities or those other ethnicities are able to start Start at a certain point, like live in a house with each other on a constant basis. You want to know why that works and how that works? Because number one, you have to kill your ego.
Yes. You got to be willing to deal with it.
Yeah. Your ego has to be killed. You have to learn how to just sometimes, we have to learn to humble ourselves and have some type of form of humility and understand this is just a temporary spot right now. I'm not going to be here forever. I'm on the ladder and I'm working my way up. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. Like I said before, everything is not meant to. We have to get out of this microwave age type thinking. Throw it in the microwave. In 2 minutes is all done.
Right.
No, that's not how it works.
Listen, I'm definitely planning on seeing my fruit from a spirit form. I don't think I'll be able to see it with my physical eyes. I do know that I'll be able to see the birth of it. Now, I am going to say that. I'll be able to see it coming, and see it, budding and starting to take a hold. I'll be able to see that. But to its full potential, my baby, he's going to have to bring it home.
I hear you.
Because I'm definitely thinking, yeah.
And that's why it's important, this kind of concept or this idea that it's very vital, it's very essential, it's mandatory, it's very imperative to run it by our children because they're the future.
Yeah.
And
listen, my son stays so close to me. Yeah, he's so close to me. That's one reason why I say that quality time, because we're passing things down, not by what we say. It's about how we live. These kids are looking at us because they need to know how to live. They're modeling their lives after us. They're not modeling their words or what they're saying or thinking. They're modeling how they're living, how they're piecing things together, how are they embodying. They're getting that from us. Like, how is this person moving through life? And, what is important to this person? What are they spending their time doing? Like, this is what the kids are starting, this is what they're getting from us. What is this person listening to? How, everything. So that time, but I was saying, my son, he stays really close to me. And what I realized is that he listens. When I talk, he realizes that, first of all, I always tell my son that I'm a very important person. Because he always asks me, why am I talking so much? I'm like, I'm a very important person, Shahid. You just got to understand, mommy's important. And that's my way to get him to understand that I'm just doing what I love, basically. But I keep him close to me because I realize he's listening. I even asked him one time, does he listen to me when I speak? And he said, yes. He's only 3. So I know if he's listening to me now and he's picking it up, I know that boy's going to be a beast when he turns 18. He's going to be ready for whatever. My baby's going to be ready.
Well, Sal, you got anything to say, or we got any more callers on that?
Nah, no more callers right now. Everybody just listening to the show. So, of course, I'll keep you guys posted if anything. But you continue, guys.
All right. I actually don't have any other points. I actually don't have any other points. I mean, Brother B.A., if you got anything else you wanted to bring up, we can go on. But
I would just say, even though right now we're at home and we're spending more time at home than before, for those who are at home and who are doing the best they can to survive, I know listening to me and telling you to think positive is one of the last things you don't. I'm pretty sure you've heard it before, but I would just say to maintain, keep your composure. Mm-hmm. And if you have children, this is the time to go in and to stress a lot of things to them, not in the negative sense, but just to let them know how urgent and how important, how severe these times are now. Let's not hesitate anymore. Let's not, if there's something that needs to come out, or if there's something that we feel that our children need to hear that's vital, please share it with them. Be more in tune with them. If there are any people that you have bad blood with, bury the hatchet. Holding grudges, it doesn't help. Right now, if there's anyone that you may have had some type of quarrel with, please bury the hatchet. It's better that way. It's better. We don't have time now to sit here and go back and forth and argue and yell and scream. And nah, man, it's not worth it anymore. Life is too short. We have a purpose in life, and there's things that we have to do. And you don't want to leave this earth being known as a fire starter or as a troublemaker or someone who people couldn't get along with. You want to leave some type of positive impact on your way out of here. So that's what I would say. And please, another thing, have common courtesy towards others. Have courtesy. Be considerate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Be understanding. Disagree with someone. It's an elder that said to me years ago. This is something that me and my sister Ashanti stress to each other all the time. If you're going to disagree with somebody, disagree to understand. Don't disagree just to start fighting and try to start some kind of fire. Disagree to understand, because that you understanding the person's view, that may help you out with something in life. It may help make you a better person. So please, just continue to like it says, love thy neighbors and love thyself. And that's deeper than just saying hi, hello, and goodbye. It's our conduct, how we treat each other.
I love it. I second all that.
Man. Yeah, sis, we got to get together and talk more about that concept, these little ideas. I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got to get together more often.
I've mentioned this before. I'm going to go ahead and send you an email because I've got some things that have been developing since I told you about it. So I'll go ahead and get you up to speed, and I'll just talk to you about what I see as far as the collaboration is concerned, and you'll just tell me what you think.
Well, Steph, sounds good.
Okay. All right, well, you guys, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Brother Moses. Thank you, Brother B.A. Thank you, Sal Showtime. What I call you, Super Sal. Thanks, Super Sal.
No doubt. I appreciate you coming on and bringing the topics together. And once again, guys, we're going to see you guys next time. Take care, and God bless.
Welcome to the planets of debates. Debate Talk for You Radio.
Hey, faithful listeners and thinkers. My name is Reese Roberts, and I'm the host of a new podcast called Entertain the Thought, now available on SoundCloud and www.reeseroberts.com. The website and podcast are focused on teaching consciousness and human evolution in current social conditions. As a free member on reeseroberts.com, you'll have access to curated content like videos and free book downloads. You can also schedule personal consulting services for teenagers, singles, and married couples. I also offer an enrichment training program that teaches students the fundamental arts of research and debate to increase their knowledge of self. The T-Team is now open for enrollment. For more information, please visit www.serveincorporated.com/register. Again, that's www.servincorporated.com/register. Thank you very much for tuning in to Debate Talk for You Radio.